welcome back. This is Let's Megamek with Marlow's Stingrays. And you'll notice we're on Saturday. I actually did a little bit of recording session and the audio was completely messed up. I think Windows Update came in and it really messed something up. So thanks, Windows. Install Windows 10 like I tell you to. Anyway, basically I need to start over. We did do some stuff. I did go through and I did the repairs here. I actually did this off camera anyway, but I've mostly been taking this apart and the Manticore tank, and we've been making our rolls, so it's been going pretty good. All of our other mechs were repaired except for the Battle Master here. I did have a little snafu where my techs just kept failing the rolls, so now I need an elite tech to actually repair these 2 points of damage. It's not too big of a deal. In fact, I think if we take more damage on that leg, we'll reset that anyway. In the infirmary, we have these two people. Oh, and all those prisoners we had, one of them I was allowed to recruit, and so I did. He is an elite gunner. The rest of them I actually ransomed away for $325,000. So we got that going for us. And I believe, other than that, yeah, I didn't actually manually roll up these injuries. I just rolled with what they had because it looked reasonable. So she has a broken right leg, a broken collarbone, and a laceration on her head, which will be healed tomorrow. This was originally 30 days. She's out for quite a while. I could still use her, but she'll have these penalties, and it would be a bad idea. And I think the other guy's hurt too, but go ahead and take a look. Well, it's a her actually. I keep calling it a he. I kept calling her a he as well last mission, and she's not. Anyway, she had a sprained left arm and a bruised kidney, but otherwise she's fine. We freed her, and she joined us. She's a really good gunner, 3+. Now we did get some experience from that last fight. Let me go down here to general. See here, Olivia, for example, got 4 experience. And what we can do is you spend these experience just on various stuff. Current skills. Here you can see how much it actually costs to do all that. Quite a bit, really. I'd love to get her gunnery up by another 10. That would be awesome, quite frankly. So we're probably going to save up for that. You can give her new skills. Some of these are zeros, but why would I even want to necessarily give her these? We could dual spec her into aerospace fighters. And then you've got the special abilities, which are a little bit more expensive, but still something you could use to really manually tweak out your characters. The only thing I don't see is Edge, and I would love to have Edge. Edge is really this, and it basically allows you to re-roll stuff like this, which you set up a trigger for. I have to look into how you actually get Edge. It may just be like one of those things lucky that people normally don't get. Ah, yes. And the last thing I want to show you guys before we pretty much wrap up and get ready for the new mission here is, first of all, the infantry. There are rules for the infantry and the prisoners, in fact, which is what I use to ransom away the prisoners here. That's these rules here. This is how much they were worth. Mech warriors are obviously worth, and aerospace fighters are worth others more. But up here, the infantry can be used. Pretty much, the way I've got it set up is I have a default setting. Everybody is at the base. If they're not doing anything else, they're sitting at the base, defending the base, and keeping us safe. So the way this works is on any group that's in the defense position, which I think for this next fight our command lance was, but I'm going to set this up for next week because I'm not going to middle of the week here change this because I don't remember for sure, but I think he was on defense. Anyway, anyone that's on defense and is actually on the defensive side of a scenario, I can use pretty much all of these guys if I wanted to help defend our base and the unit and whatever. Now the rest of these are actually special postures I can put them in. And the only one I'm not very comfortable with is Scout. But what it does is we have raids basically. I can send, well, first of all, everybody's here, and I can send as many people up here, or many platoons up here, as I have strategy points on Carl Marlow, and he has one. So I can only do one of these things per week. As we level him up, we'll have more options. But for now, and I'm not going to do it right now anyways, the raid, what a raid is basically I will roll 1d6. It actually says here in the rules. Now also, these are rules for like changing up what kind of platoon they are, which I will probably be making use of, because I do eventually want to like have like a platoon that has like artillery support and so forth. But I'll need to look up exactly how that works. Down here we have sabotage, loot, extract. I just called it the raid special forces. Basically, if I put somebody up in there, I can roll 1d6. On a 6, we get a bonus roll. It's a benefit of some kind. Like maybe he goes finds a truck, or maybe he finds a person, or something happens that's a good thing. The rules are in here. I'm just not going to look them up right at this moment. But if he rolls a 1, that entire platoon is lost. So it's a risk reward type thing. And search and rescue has to be motorized for starters, but it can go out, and once per week a dead mech warrior is instead wounded 5 hits. So we can go out and basically save somebody. And I do believe there is like a MASH unit vehicle. And if we get that, I'm probably going to invent some extra rules, like for the search and rescue, like maybe we can like lower even injuries or something like that. We don't have one, so I'm not going to worry about it yet, but I'm kind of thinking along those lines. Guard is basically very similar to them being at the HQ base, except they can, even if somebody is on training exercises in the scouting or in the attack posture, as long as they are defending in the scenario, you can use anybody that's in the guard, any platoon that's in this guard section. And scout. And this is the one I don't really like the way this is worded. Especially since there's something I'm going to show you here in just a minute. But scout, what it says is 1d6. You can roll 1d6 once a week. If a 6 is rolled, I ignore one battle and the week and is considered a victory, resolved manually without salvage or damage to any unit. I'm thinking of changing this to where I can re-roll the opposition, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. So right now that's where I'm thinking, 1d6 on a 6, I can basically get one reroll. If I roll something up and it's just ridiculous, I don't want to fight it, I can do a reroll because I scouted it out. So I'm not overly happy with this particular rule. I'm probably going to change it, but for now that's what it's going to be. If you guys got some ideas on how to change that, just let me know, especially taking into account this. Keep hinting at it. Let's do it. Where did I write it down? There it is. The Aerospace rules. I finally decided on what I'm going to do with the Aerospace fighters, and I wrote up rules for it. And these are subject to change. I've been thinking about it all week, and I actually spent an hour writing up these rules kind of on the spot. So the numbers might be a little wonky. We'll play test it and see how it works. But for what we're going to do is Aerospace fighters are basically going to be able to set up in 4 postures just like these guys are. And the way Aerospace fighters are set up is you have flights. A flight is 2 Aerospace fighters. Then you have 3 flights in a squadron and 3 squadrons in a wing. So 18 total at the end of the day. And each flight has to be set in one of 4 postures. The first posture is grounded. Basically, you don't use them. They are ungrounded. They are grounded for the entire week. You can't use them for anything, no bonuses, but they also don't get hurt. So, great. Recon. Successful recon runs allow the unit to re-roll the opposition, similar to what I just said with the scouts. You can re-roll under the opposition as many times as you have successful runs on the week. To succeed, you roll 1d20. On a 1 through 9, your fighter was intercepted and takes 10 times 10 minus the number rolled. So if you rolled a 5, that would be 10 times 5, or 50 points of damage. And it's spread out in 5-point clusters as rolled per the Aerotech rules. So basically I'll have to break out and actually roll damage for my own stuff. Damage is evenly split between both fighters if 2 fighters are present. So if you only have 1, it's all on the 1 fighter. Otherwise, in the above scenario, 50 would be divided into 25 per fighter. On a roll of 10 to 15, it's uneventful patrol, and on a 16 through 20, it's a successful recon, which gives you these bonuses up here. And you apply the following modifiers. +1 if both aerospace fighters are light, you get a +1. If the heaviest aerospace fighter in the wing or in the flight is a heavy, you get a -1 to the roll. If the heaviest one is an assault, -2. And then you get a plus or minus based on the air superiority level of the world, which is this next roll. Air superiority posture. Air superiority words, they're being spoken. Air superiority missions allow you to dominate the skies of your world. Successful missions make it easier for your fighters to perform recon and ground support missions. A planet's air superiority level starts at -5 and can go as low as -10 or as high as +10. When engaging an air superiority, roll 1d20. On a 1 through 6, you lose ground. Lower the air superiority level by 1. Your aerospace fighters take damage equal to 30 times 7 minus the number rolled. So if you roll a 1, that's 6. So 6 times 30 is 180 points of damage. It's very dangerous to do this. Hits are applied in 5-point clusters and rolled per the aerotech rules. The damage is evenly split between both. Basically, that rule keeps applying. It's just me repeating myself. 7 to 14 is a status quo. Basically, you fight, but you don't really. Neither side gained any ground. So you still take 20 points of damage. Just a straight up 20 points of damage applied to your fighters. 15 through 20, you drive off the enemy, +1 to the air superiority level of the world. So, and you apply these following modifiers to the roll. These are basically the reverse of the recon. -1 if you're lights, +1 if you have a heavy, +2 if you have an assault. And these, you get a -1 for every point of air superiority below -8, or +1 for every point above 8. Not about, above. I should probably proofread, but I didn't. But what this basically does is once the balance of power has been tipped pretty heavy in one way, it becomes harder and harder to bring it back the other way. You're dominating the skies. They're having trouble getting the ground, or we're dominating the skies. We're dominating the skies, and they can't get to us. That brings us to ground support. Basically, we can provide ground support to units that are in combat while they are in this role. Fighters will show up as reinforcements. And a Megamek match. Roll 1d20. And on 1 through 10, the fighters get caught by the enemy aerospace fighters. Our fighters take damage equal to 10 times 11 minus the number rolled. So if we rolled a 10, it would be basically just straight up 10 points. Hits are applied in 5-point clusters, blah, 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 blah. Okay. On 11 plus, the flight is available for any battle happening this week. And they, like I said, they show up as reinforcements. And I'm pretty sure the AI knows how to shoot aerospace fighters, even though they don't know how to fly aerospace fighters. So that's why I'm generating these rules, because I can't just set up a against the bot match with aerospace fighters. I could technically get somebody else to fight me, but that's complications I don't really like dealing with for this series. The following modifiers are applied to this rule, and these are basically exactly the same as the recon. My reasoning being, well, you want to bring these assaults to your fight. They're easier for the enemy aerospace fighters to catch and basically tie up. So it's easier to get the lights through. Anyway, those are the rules I've got as so far. They're subject to change, but that's what I'm going to be doing with the aerospace fighters, because I do want to use them, and we'll play it a little bit by ear to see how it works out. But for now, we have actually this next battle. We have Hold the Line Defense with Captain Marlow himself. And after that, tomorrow we have a Star League cache, which will be an interesting little mission. And it's my understanding the automation doesn't know how to actually generate these. So this will probably be the only time we'll see this. So I can, take advantage while we can, I suppose. But I will go ahead and leave it there. I wish the last recording would have stuck, because, I've explained.